Pledge of Allegiance, Mary Lou.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I didn't take all the speakers away. We're on a new system tonight.
Okay.
We're hoping.
Public comments on agenda items? Do we have any? No, okay. All right, I'm gonna open a public hearing for local options on the Senior Star Program. Is there anyone who would like to say anything regarding that?
Motion to open the public hearing.
Yes, I made a motion to open the public hearing.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Will you second it?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or is it too late?
No, you
No.
can talk if it's regarding the local options for the senior program.
This is a public hearing regarding the Senior Star Program.
I don't know what the options are, but I'm in favor of the senior program, the STAR program. Laura Lynn?
Tillman, Shaughnessy Road. I'm in favor of the Senior Star Program. I hear there's a possibility of legislation at the state level to cut it. Please no. N-O, not K-N-O-W. And Laura Lynn has really been wonderful through the years to track us all down to make sure that we fill out the paperwork to get our Senior Star. So what local options? I'm not a vet.
Well, it's to hold it open for a longer period of time for the seniors to be able to
Okay.
get in here to sign up for it. And for the veterans, it's regarding, it doesn't
Doesn't include the
doesn't
veterans' benefits.
include their
Disability
benefits and the disability benefits into their,
So there's not a doubling up of financial aid.
Right,
to
their
be-
disability
Right,
benefits
no.
are not counted in their income
Okay,
for Star Program benefits.
and that's all it is.
fine.
We're trying to do everything we can to
Thank
help
you.
the Star Program. Certainly, we're
Good.
opposed to the state cutting it in any way, but we want to extend the time so more and more seniors can participate.
Without a doubt, because there are more and more seniors all the time. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments regarding this? Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, now I'll make a motion to open the public hearing regarding ground-mounted solar panels. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna have George Kolb, our building inspector, code enforcement officer, just give you a little background on this.
Good evening, board members, everybody. I came to the board a number of months ago regarding solar ground-mounted units. We've had a number of proposals to the town for very sizable, large units to be installed in the town of Unionville. Our code currently does not specifically address these types of units. I felt it was necessary that we have some kind of control, especially on the ground-mount units. We have legislation proposed. The main thrust of the proposal is to, it is a permitted use in all areas of the town. When you exceed 400 square feet in a sizable ground mount system, it will trigger a special use permit from the planning board. That would give the planning board the ability to look at the site in which it's going to be installed, possibly impose some greater screening on it so that at least it's, the view from the view shed is protected in some way. That's basically the thrust of it. It does give us some control. I would imagine over the next few months or years that we will amend the code because as these things change typically, we're going to need to address it. The public should understand that we have a fairly large proposal by the Arlington School District to install one adjacent off of Route 55. It's approximately 15 acres. You will see some of it from Route 55, and I felt it the obligation of the town to at least have this being reviewed by the planning board so that they can make appropriate action to review the application. So if anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them. But that's basically the thrust of the new code amendment. Okay, thank you.
Are there any public comments regarding the ground-mounted solar panels? No, then I'll make a motion to close the public hearing regarding the ground-mounted solar panels, but we will take any public comments for the next 10 days. You can email them or call George Cope in his office.
I will second your motion to close it.
All in favor?
Agree.
Aye.
In
Aye.
favor.
Okay, now I will open the public hearing on the MS4. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
In favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Now, Mr. Paggi, will you?
Certainly. Just to, as a little preface, the town was determined to be required to conform to MS4 requirements to gain coverage under the MS4 permit as a result of the 2010 census, which basically established that there's certain population density in portions of the towns that would be classified as urbanized areas. The town actually obtained a waiver from that when the stormwater regulations came into effect back in 2003, and they were unable to obtain the waiver again in 2010. So by 2016, the town has to demonstrate conformance with the requirements of the general permit, and part of that conformance is adoption of 2 ordinances, actually 3 ordinances. 2 of them are combined into one. The first, which is the combination of 2, is erosion and sediment control and stormwater management. It's going to be designated in our new town code as Chapter 190. It will replace existing code, Chapter 122, which is erosion sediment control law. This is not something that the town is unfamiliar with. Back when we were first retained as engineers for the town in the 2007 timeframe, the town knew that its time would come when it would have to become an MS4, that the waiver from the DEC would not last forever. So we actually instituted a law back then that covered probably 95% of the requirements that an MS4 community would have to implement relative to stormwater management and erosion and sediment control plan. It pertains to the review requirements for stormwater pollution prevention plans, the submission requirements from applicants in front of the planning board, the submission requirements for applicants that are just going to the building department with projects of areas of disturbance that exceed certain thresholds. What this new law does is it basically amends that law that we had instituted to provide conformance, and it's also it also has some revisions in it to make adjustments that we felt were appropriate due to our experience with the prior law over the past 8 or 10 years. Those revisions those revisions basically modify thresholds. They increase thresholds in areas where we felt the law was burdensome and repetitive, and they've lessened thresholds where we felt we didn't have enough control in certain areas. So while it was an imposition as an MS4 community, it really forced us to fine-tune the law and make it better, which is going to be very well suited to the town of Unionville. So this is a good thing. The second law that's on tonight's docket is called the Illicit Discharge Law, IDDE, Illicit Discharge Determination and elimination. And what this law addresses is the investigation, identification, and elimination of potential illicit discharges to the town's stormwater conveyance system. Such illicit discharges would be someone draining maybe like a construction site directly into a catch basin without letting the water settle, so there was sediment discharge. It could even be something as simple as a sump pump in a basement if there's contaminants that are involved with that sump pump discharge. In other words, if somebody's got a leaking oil container in the basement and that gets discharged, that could be illicit discharge. Somebody draining a pool into a catch basin, if it hasn't been dechlorinated, can be an illicit discharge. What's also associated with this law is the imposition of the town to map the outfalls, stormwater outfalls, and a stormwater outfall is basically the point where the stormwater will exit the town's system and discharge to a stream or water body or water course. The town has those outfalls mapped in cooperation with Dutchess County Soil and Water. And the purpose of having them mapped is they have to be inspected annually, and if there's evidence of an illicit discharge, it's incumbent upon the town to investigate that, to identify it, and to work towards its elimination. And this law gives the town the authority to do those things. Probably the only other interesting point about this is the mapping that I just mentioned, and actually the development of these local ordinances is at least being partially funded. Probably the majority of it's being funded through a grant that we were able to secure with the help of Soil and Water. So with that, I'll answer any questions. I know that stormwater isn't one of the most interesting things to talk about, but if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Are there any public comments or questions for Mr. Paggi? No, then I'll make a motion, we close the public
Okay,
hearing.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good
And
night.
if there are any questions, we will accept them 10 days, and they can send them actually to George, and he will get them to Larry.
Yeah, thank you. Good.
Okay, reports of the supervisor. All right, so I was in contact with Matt from Halmar. He sent me an email. We are still planning to complete the bridge and paving by the end of this month, barring any unforeseen delays or obstacles. We plan to have Route 55 reopened by the end of September, first week of October. Let me know if you have any more questions or concerns. Matt also called me at home tonight, and he was explaining to me that he will be working on the Verbank Bridge on 82, and they're gonna be working from like 7 in the morning till on a Friday. He said they're gonna start either this Friday or next Friday, and they're gonna be working through the night to Saturday morning to get the other bridge in place, so there's really not gonna be any obstacles in the way of the traffic. If there are any questions, feel free to call me and I can contact Matt. Other than that, I went to the 911 ceremony in Burbank on Sunday. It was really nice. Mary Jean Calvi sang and played the flute, and that was beautiful. Mark Coviello did a speech. He's the county legislature. And Karen Lawler also did a speech, and that was really nice. And I just want to thank everyone who was there. It was a great thing. Also, last week, I went to the highway picnic. It was a nice day, it was good food, it was good people, and it was very nice, and I want to thank everyone in the Dutchess County Highway and our highway and everyone that put it on. It was really awesome. Other than that, is there any more reports, John?
Yeah, I have one. As everyone should know, I'm recently appointed as the liaison with the Library Steering Committee. Those people have been working very hard. A lot's been accomplished. They're trying to get things done completely soon. In about 2 weeks, all the residents will be getting a postcard in the mail alerting them to a online survey that they would like them to participate in. Postcard will contain the instructions. Those that don't have access to a computer will be able to get hard copies here at the town hall, town clerk's office. And the committee would really like residents, there'll be one response per family. The committee would really like the residents to give their input so that they can get their arms around what the public in this town really wants as far as library services. Okay. I have one other thing. We had a group from the county planning department come to Unionville on the 24th of August to look over Timemore Park because we're in the process of applying for a grant for handicap accessibility. The initial request is for better access to the office area in the front barn entrance area. We've applied in the past and weren't successful for that particular entrance. Others were approved and we got grant money, but this would be the third access point that we felt does warrant handicap accessibility. We also asked if we could get some part grant money for improving the parking lot adjacent to the park area. And they had said they would probably send out some of their DOT people to look over the situation and make recommendations. To date, they haven't responded or sent someone. The problem is we're running out of time for the grant application process, so I'm going to ask if the other board members, if it's okay to proceed without including part of the parking lot for handicap parking as part of the project.
Yeah, I think we have to proceed with this and get it
Yeah,
done as
because
quickly
otherwise
as possible.
we may not get anything.
I mean, I'll call Ann Saylor again. I know you've
I've
tried.
left quite a few
Many
voicemails
times.
without any response, so. And, you know, these grants have, this early October is a deadline, so we need to have a public hearing at our next meeting, October 6th, so the public can give us input on the application. And after that, it's got to be filed with the county.
Okay. Is that all for you?
That's it, thank you.
Dave?
I'm not gonna be quite as quick. Again, going to the 9/11 services on Sunday. There were a couple of things taking place on Sunday, and some of it involved the fire department. One of them was early in the morning, they had a 5K run called the Heroes Run for Sparrow's Nest at James Baird State Park. And two of the members of the Unionville Fire Company who ran, Corey and Devin Tassiano, came in first and second in the first responders group at the
And they were
the run.
brothers.
And they were brothers. So, I mean, it's pretty good. It's nice to have nice young men like that that are in good shape. At the same time, Patty mentioned the 9/11 services. I was at a fire district meeting last night, and they pointed out, and they wanted to thank, and since this is more of a public meeting, I'll thank Halmar and DOT. They did a fantastic job of cleaning up the park with all the construction going on there so that we could have the services right over at the park. Originally, we thought we were going to have them over at the, in front of the firehouse, just looking over at the memorial instead of being able to be right over at the memorial. So they did a very good job. Of course, the next day they started the construction again. And at the district meeting last night, I found out about the construction, as Patty was talking about. They are going to reorganize that intersection, and I believe they're not gonna do it this weekend, it's gonna be next weekend, but they're gonna be working 24 hours a day there to try and alleviate it over the weekend rather than during the week. And I think much of the construction they're gonna be doing at night. I believe that's what they said. I spoke with Emily Chazen this week from NYSERDA about solarizing town properties. I'm sending them the locations to be evaluated for suitability and approximately how much power they could produce in order to proceed further. Then that, we will have to prepare a request for proposals to have somebody come in and physically look at the property. They will help us with those, and that is not something that we have to pay for. Again, this is something that the state is paying for. I'm asking them to look at the town buildings, including Time War, Godfrey, and the town hall, the recycling center, the landfill, and the 11 acres that we own on 55. I mean, it's there, we're not getting anything out of it. Perhaps we can. She went over the recommendations of the way to pay for it. There are grants available. It would be something by us to go through a planned power purchase agreement for 15 to 25 years, and that would mean basically no cash outlay by us, other than we would be buying, like we do now through Veridian. We would be buying our power through whoever set up and managed the solar systems. So it would be no cash outlay. They will be back. I'll be talking to them again shortly, and we might have to look at, the plan, the request for proposals next month.
Would they be possibly able to come to a meeting, talk to the whole board?
Well, Hugo came down that one time. They would be willing to set up a webinar. The woman that's running it is in Quincy, Massachusetts. I don't think she's really gonna make a run down.
All right, well,
But they would be.
They don't have
willing to
anybody
set up a
locally,
webinar. The people that they would have, I can talk to Pat Strong again and see if they can, but remember when Jules Hugo came
Yeah,
over?
yeah.
That's what he was doing.
right, but
But,
it'd be nice to have the whole board able to ask questions and discuss it.
yeah, well, he did at the
I know,
board
but
meeting, but if you
If
want
we're
to do it
moving
again,
forward, yeah,
we can see if we can get somebody else down. I've got a proposal for a resolution tonight to apply for a JCAP grant. The JCAP grant would be to get security cameras planted around the town hall and inside the town hall. It's for court security. The gentleman who, and I gave everybody copies of his proposal. He said that we received a proposal for putting in these cameras at $12,000. It's a lot of money. This could be covered completely by a grant. The grant writer's name is Jay Grasso. JJ, again, I got it here, but somewhere in these papers. I'm a little unorganized tonight. But he would file the grant. We'd have to pass the resolution tonight in order for him to do it. Again, like the grants for the town, they have to be in
deadline.
October. There's a deadline. He charges $89 an hour to do all the paperwork. And he gets 3.5% of the grant if it's allowed by statute. If they don't, basically that's how he gets all his money. I've looked at other grant writers in the area and online, and he's cheap. Again, I gave you the entire proposal. He handles all sorts of state, federal, and FEMA, Homeland Security grants that we would be eligible for, many for the parks, many for the town buildings. He cannot charge us to do anything with the state senate because he works for the state senate, but he can give us the information necessary to apply these grants. He is probably about 90% successful on getting grants, and he knows when the grants have to be put in, when he has to file them. I'm going to make the recommendation tonight that we pass the resolution when it comes up, and that we hire Jay for at least this grant to see how it works out. And then we can go from there.
Well, the resolution doesn't state to hire him, it just states that we're going for the JCAP grant, so you need to make a motion to hire him.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
Hire him.
all right. Based on that letter you gave us, the
Yes.
outline. I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
This way I can get him started on it tomorrow.
And that's just for this grant?
Just for this grant, just for the JCAP grant. And then he'll talk to us about others after.
Okay.
If it's of any interest, we also hired him last night for the district. For the same reasons, to get the grants when they are available. I think that was the only things that I had.
Okay. Reports of departments and committees, highway?
Okay, you guys are welcome for that picnic. So, I hope you enjoyed it.
It was very good.
Good. All right, report for August and September. Installed 1,500 feet of pipe in Meadow Ridge along with 12 catch basins. Oil and stone, South Smith and Eddy Road. We waited a maximum 10 to 14 days to sweep up the loose stone on both roads. This is advised by the company who did the work. If it were swept up before that, there would be a good chance of losing our guarantee for the oil and stone to work correctly. We fixed 60 feet of guide rail on Brush Hill Road that still to this day we don't know how it got ripped down. Cleaned ditches on Flint and Mallory Road, cut down a dead tree on South Smith Road, trimmed the overgrown forsythia bushes in Brookside Lane, removed a dangerous hanging limb on Cooper Road, replaced some signs on Still Road, pushed off and leveled the dirt piles on North Parliament Road that we've been hauling there from the Meadow Ridge project. I have the guys dumping there because there's a very steep drop off on the edge of the road that a lot of people don't know about. Now, if someone pulls off the road for a reason, there's room to do so safely. Repaired a hydraulic line on a backhoe. Okay. Any questions on that before I go on to this? All right, you guys all know what this is, right? This is a report back in April from Joe Kelly, the engineer who went and
Yeah.
scoped out the work that I was going to do. Okay, a little response to what he had said here in some of his comments. All right. Reviews and comments is in-kind replacement of existing drainage proposed question. What is the determination based on question? He says most basins, pipes appear in good condition. Sinkhole present and adjacent to one catch basin. Okay, so far 90 to 95% of the metal pipe that have been removed are full of holes due to deterioration from age and the use of salt on the roads, especially with the winters we've had in the past 8 to 9 years. The pipes were determined to be rotted in the summer of 2015. I personally climbed down into the basins with a flashlight and examined them. The basins have been falling apart for a few years now. My men have filled several holes, more than one, which he claims he only saw one, with cement and blacktop. These holes alongside the damaged basins, these holes alongside the damaged basins and culverts are from the undermining, the fill and the gravel from around them. While removing the old basins, they've been crumbling and falling apart. It means they're no good. He says they were good. He examined them, I guess. So, we tried pulling some out with a chain. They just broke apart. There was nothing left of them. So that's why I chose to replace them. And also, he states in his report, the existing corrugated metal drainage pipe observed during field visit appears intact. Yes, most of it's still intact. It's still stuck together, but in poor shape. For instance, the bottoms are full of holes. All the water's running underneath them. Cablevision had run trenching machine lengthwise through some of the pipes to put in their cable and run the actual cable right through our pipes. Unfortunately, we found that, and somebody didn't have cable for a while. The large rocks were placed in the tops and the sides of the pipes, creating large dents and holes. There were also holes that were previously patched with small pieces of pipe and old road signs. So, it goes on to the large pipe that we're replacing. It's 95 inches by 67 inches by 60 feet long. Existing pipe alignment does not match the stream alignment. New York State DEC may require replacement with larger culvert at different alignment if replaced. Current New York State DEC stream crossing guidelines specify a culvert opening 25% larger than stream bed width at ordinary high water level. Since stream is classified trout spawning stream, the permit is required. So in response to that, large culvert replacement. At the original installment of the 95 by 67 by 60 foot long squash pipe, it may have been in line with the stream flow. Over the years, Mother Nature may have possibly moved some things around. The DEC did not require a 25% larger pipe. I did ask them that, and they said no. After the site observation, they agreed with me and my sketches I drew up, which I saved $2,500 to $3,000 by doing it myself and not hiring an engineer. A permit is required, and I was approved for one. It would be extremely unintelligent not to replace this culvert. The bottom is deteriorating, and there's a very large dent bulge at about halfway through the pipe in the upper right-hand side, which I got in there today where there's no water in it. Whoever installed it did some kind of cob job. There's rebar in there, there's some old welding going on, and it's starting to fall apart. The chance of this existing pipe failing in the near future would be really good. The last thing I would want to do is waste taxpayers' money by ripping up 30 tons of one-year-old blacktop to replace something that should have been done with all the other drainage replacement. So, that's all I got to say. I'll come back with more after his comments about the blacktop.
How's the
Any comments?
project coming along?
It's good. We are finally got the permit. DEC for some reason had the permit and they didn't send it. You saw it in the mail. They had it done in the beginning of August, and
Really?
it's hard to get a hold of anybody over there.
But now
It's
you
not
have
like it
it,
used to
so-
be. I have it. We're starting a job on Monday,
Good.
and
Okay.
we're having assistance from Central Hudson. So I'll say this over the camera: if there is any power outages in Meadow Ridge Lane, it will only be for a couple hours, because the way it's run and the way it's put together, there's electric lines, cable lines, and there's a guide rail post all into one huge hunk of concrete, and it's going right over top of this pipe. So they're going to be on call, and I met them there today, so they're aware of what's going on.
Okay,
So it will only be like 4 hours max, if anything.
okay,
All right?
yep.
Any questions there, code enforcer? Get to them driveways. All right. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bookkeeper,
Evening. The expenditures and revenues for the month of August. The A-Fund expenditures were $209,624.10. The A-Fund revenues were $127,383.69. The D-Fund expenditures were $110,026.54, and the D-Fund revenue was $16,932.76. And most of the rest of my time has been with working with department heads and the town supervisor on the 2017 budget. Most departments have submitted numbers for the 2017 budget. Department numbers are due by September 20th. The supervisor will have the tentative budget to the town clerk's office by September 30th, and then the process with the town board will begin after that.
Okay,
who doesn't have their budgets in, do you know?
I can discuss that with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Parks,
So, update on the Eagle Scout projects. The lean-to behind the pool is finally done, and it looks great. And our Eagle Scout that did it is Jacob Meester. Did an awesome job. Everybody should go check it out. It's very nice.
yeah, I have, it's very impressive. He did a fabulous professional job.
Yeah,
Really blends in nice and looks good there.
it's very nice addition to the park. I don't know if you guys noticed on the way in, Beekman is playing soccer. on the field down behind the maintenance shop, and they're also playing over here on the
Nice
big
to see
one.
it being used.
Exactly, which is great. We got siding on the building where the silos used to be, so that's finally closed up, which is nice. The shop is white on 3 sides now anyway. We're waiting for the wind to cooperate with us, and then we'll get the 4 sides sprayed. We painted some of the new jumps up at the old jumps up at the equestrian center, so they're looking nice. And there is a horse show, or there's an equestrian event up there this Sunday, just so everybody knows if anybody wants to go check it out. We're getting ready for Oktoberfest. That's next Sunday, the 25th, and we're going to be doing some work on the parking lot this week or next week, getting it ready for that, so it's a little more accessible. The gas pump was down for a little while. That's been fixed, and it came in under what they quoted us to fix it, which was really pretty nice. An update on the pool. They're closed for the seasons. They're covered. And also on the kiddie pool, Tom St. Ange and I did some tests on it, and we were actually able to find where it was leaking from. So it has been leaking for a while.
Is it a place you can get to?
It is.
Oh, good.
And we will actually be able to fix it for
For next season.
under probably $100.
Excellent.
Which is
Great.
awesome.
Good work.
And this has been going on for
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah. So, yeah, under $100. Which is
Very
nice.
good. I'm impressed.
We went, Jess and I actually went to a TAP seminar earlier this week to learn about some grant money. It doesn't really apply to us, but we met some good people, learned a bunch of stuff, which was good. And I'm also meeting with somebody tomorrow. I know I had talked with Patty about it, and also with John Welsh and with Mr. McMorris about like maybe a permeable pavement system for it, something along those lines. So I'm actually meeting with somebody from Unilock, the actual company. It's coming in to see if it would even be a good, system for it in there. So that's pretty much what we got for this month.
Very good.
Thanks, Jake. Recreation?
That's me. I changed my shoes.
Okay.
I went out to check on the pond today. Had a little mishap, but all is well. To start off, our gift card drive for the Kettlewell family has been going very well. We've had some great contributions come rolling in. Thank you to everyone that has donated, and please don't stop giving just because 2 weeks has passed or a month has passed. It's just an ongoing need, so it'd be great to see anything that can happen. We'll just continue to accept donations and get them to the family as soon as possible. Our recreation budget is planning for 2017. It's looking like we'll get that stuff to Ryan by the 20th, and we'll be good to go, and hopefully great things will happen in 2017 that the taxpayers will see affect them in a positive way. We have ended our summer, and we're beginning our fall events. Myself, it's been a little challenging to phase out of my beloved after-school program and all of those things, but I have a great faith in our new leadership team, including Shelley Knight and Mary Pearson, who you all will very soon meet. TGTT days, we did 7 of them in a row, and if you don't know, TGTT days stand for Thank Goodness There's Time More. When school is out, we plan camp days for families to bring their children for the entire day. We had 7 in a row before school began back up, and I actually have some great data to report that as of right now, September going into October, we've already exceeded our 2015 gross revenue for that program, and we still have plenty more days to go. October, November, December, we'll do a full week. So that's great. It's a good service for the community. It's something that parents need for sure, and we love to put those days on for the kids. Oktoberfest is quickly approaching, and we are more than ready. We've got all of our ducks in a row. It's a nice calm before the fun and crazy storm. I've been communicating with East Fishkill Provisions, and I just got off the phone with Lisa from there today, and they're ready, and they're gathering up all of their things so that we can have great, yummy German food. And it will be fantastic. Again, it's September 25th on Sunday. I hope to see all of you there. I have assignments for you all, if.
We're ready.
Yeah. And it's 12 to 7. It's $5 admission. Children 5 and under are free. There's going to be free beverages like iced tea, lemonade, and water all day, but there will be soda for purchase and beer, of course. And something I'm excited to report is that we have some new bounce house additions for the kids. I know Oktoberfest, a lot of people might not like to bring their kids, but we have lots of great new bounce houses this year. One with a rock wall and slides, one giant pumpkin, because why not? And a 5-way bounce house. So it's a really great place to bring the whole family, and we hope that everybody in Unionville and beyond comes to support the town and all we do. Keep checking our Facebook event page. I know some of you guys have been sharing our event on Facebook, which is a great way just to keep the community informed. So please keep doing that, and if you haven't checked it out, please do so tonight as soon as possible. We've got a little over a week to go, so we hope to get the word out for as many people as possible. And then lastly, jumping a little bit ahead of Oktoberfest, we do have a Halloween party to plan later in October, and I have a volunteer meeting planned for October 5th. It's a Wednesday night at 6 p.m., and we're calling people of all ages. You know, kids like 10 years old, middle schoolers, high schoolers, families that want to come and volunteer together. It's just a great fun opportunity for people to see what they can do as a family and to get a little sneak peek on what's in store for Halloween. So again, everyone is welcome, and thank you again to the town board and Patty Tompkins for being, you know, great communicators as we've been going along, and I think we're off to a great fall.
Thanks, Jess. Recycling? He's not here today. Dog control, I did not receive. Town clerk?
Okay. I turned into the supervisor $51,892.63. 42,000 of that was for recreation programs and after-school programs, and also 15,000 was turned in for swim passes this past month. Recycling, compacting, $7,000 and $1,800 for the refuse bin. I sent the state $1,614 for conservation license, $45 for marriage license, and total for the whole month was $53,592.68. And that's my last report that I will be giving, because this is my last town board meeting, because I am retiring.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Mary Lou, thanks for a lifetime of service to the town of Unionville. I know you've done town clerk, you were deputy town clerk, you were doing the Community Day Committee from the beginning in the early 70s. You've done 4-H, all kinds of stuff. So thanks for all you've done. You've helped a lot of people.
Mary Lou, it was nice to be able to at least work a couple of months with you, and I will definitely miss you, but I know you're not far away, and I can call you anytime.
Yeah, mile down the road.
Mary Lou, thank you so much for all your service. We're gonna miss you a lot.
You're gonna miss my chocolates.
I'm gonna
Now, that's now in the job description of the town clerk.
Yes,
Oh, yes,
Oh, I've already
yes,
passed that on to Ann.
she's trained her well.
Somebody
Yes.
remind me when to register the dogs.
Yes. Oh, Andrea will
Yes.
keep up on that.
Okay, zoning,
Zoning, thank you. Okay, zoning for the month of August,
Give these to Patty.
area variance application fee for Clove Valley Stock Farm, $250. Also from Thomas Plass, and another area variance application fee, $250. Total revenue for the month of August was $500. Planning board for August, no money was taken in, quiet month. Thank you.
code enforcement officer?
Again, good evening, everybody. The board has a copy of my report for the month of September. I'm sorry,
Do
August.
you have?
I'll just go briefly through some of these items. There were 13 building permits issued, 68 inspections performed. I received 5 complaints, 4 have been acted on and abated. And as you can see, over the past few years, the continual issuance of COs for expired building permits is still diligently being worked on. A couple of major things. As the board is aware, the municipal search fee and procedure has been implemented and changed. That started September 6th. Matter of fact, I did 2 today, and I have 1 tomorrow. Ironically and regrettably to inform the board, my assistant Lori is taken ill. We're not exactly sure when she was going to come back. That puts a huge hinge in my department because she did a good thrust of that work. I took the initiative of contacting our municity service that we signed on to about a year and a half ago and trying to implement something that'll make it hopefully more efficient to get this process, but there is going to be a little bit of a curve here. So I'm working with that. I would just like to also inform, again, the board and the public that any driveway that's resurfaced or done requires a permit from our office. The reason for that is that Richie has a tremendous problem with surface water going onto the town roads, causing him to spend way more time and way more money on sand and salt than it needs to be. These permits ensure that the driveways are constructed and installed so that the surface water doesn't go onto town roads. It's difficult to enforce. A lot of times, these driveways are put in before we can catch it, and it causes me to go back after the owner and try to get a brand-new driveway redone at the edge of the road to make sure it works. So I just want to get that out to the public, that they do require those permits. As we said before, the public hearings that were done tonight, I'm hoping they'll be passed in the next couple of weeks so we can work on that. In addition to that, I just want to personally thank Mary Lou. I've been here 5 years, and she's been an unbelievable person to work with. Quite frankly, I don't know what I'm going to do when she's gone. At any given time, when I've usually had an issue with a resident, I immediately go to Mary Lou to find out what the skinny is on that person, and she's always got it. I know she's not far away, and I have already informed her that I probably will still contact her, but I just want to personally thank her. She's been a great person to work for, and I know I'm going to miss her, so. Thank you. That's about it.
Thank you.
Constables, Dave?
Constables, the written report has been filed with everybody.
Okay.
So, yeah, the report was turned in.
Okay, and it can be reviewed in Mary Lou's office for the next 8 days.
Town clerk's office.
The town clerk's office. Media?
Hello, Andrea Casey, Media Coordinator. So I just want to apologize again to the board and the public about all the difficulties we've been having with the town channel. We're still unfortunately in that transitional period, and it just seems to be when we fix another problem, another one stems from it. So the failure in last week's meeting specifically was due to an incompatibility with the switching software and the unit from Cablevision that they supply. So Ryan has been sending emails and phone calls to one of the contacts from Cablevision so that they can come out here and resolve the problem. We're hoping bringing new equipment or something of that sort. If not, Mary Lou has provided us with an in at Cablevision. So we
He's
should.
watching tonight.
Oh, good. Hi, Dougie.
I hope he's hearing us too.
She
So
did
we
tell
will be
him if it
reaching
wasn't
out.
working to get
Yeah.
over here.
Good.
Yes, it is working right now,
He might come
thankfully.
through the door.
But we still want to get that swapped out because there could still be some problems where you're seeing that rainbow screen from time to time, and that's the cause of that. The YouTube channel portion is still working nicely, so if you do experience a problem viewing it on channel 22, feel free to go to YouTube and watch it from there. So that's all I have.
Website too?
Yeah, I usually link it after the meeting. It takes a few minutes to process, and then I'm able to put it on the homepage for the website shortly thereafter. So, okay, thank you.
Okay, the discussions, constable general uniform regulation. Ron DeGusto came up with this, am I correct?
Yes.
And he sent it to me, and I put it in everyone's mailbox. Unfortunately, Steve and Karina are not here tonight, so I think that everyone should just go over it until the next meeting, and then we can discuss it then if you see anything wrong with it or any changes. Everyone has it right now, so at the next meeting, everyone should be well aware of it. The other thing, the discussion was overtime for seasonal employees. Steve had brought that up at the last meeting. We both researched it. He found things, and I also did. And that's another thing I'm gonna put off until the next meeting when Steve comes back, and we can discuss his findings and my own. So now we'll move to the resolutions. John, you want to read the first one?
Okay, resolution accepting the 2015 Annual Justice Court Financial Reports. Whereas the Town of Unionville Justice Courts has submitted its 2015 Annual Financial Reports to the Town Board pursuant to Section 2019A of the Uniform Justice Court Act. Whereas the Town of Unionville has reviewed and audited the 2015 Town of Unionville Justice Court Annual Reports. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby accepts the 2015 Town of Unionville Justice Court's Annual Reports, and be it further resolved that a copy of the 2015 Town of Unionville Justice Court Annual Reports shall be kept on file in the office of the town clerk, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized and directed to provide a copy of the Justice Court reports and a copy of this resolution to the New York State Office of Court Administration.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote?
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna read the resolution accepting the resignation of the Assistant Bookkeeper Payroll Clerk. Whereas the Town of Unionville has received a letter of resignation from Kathy Hunt from her position as the Town of Unionville Assistant Bookkeeper and Payroll Clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby accepts the resignation of Kathy Hunt from the position of Assistant Bookkeeper and Payroll Clerk. Said resignation shall be effective October 12th, 2016. Kathy handed me her resignation, and she wrote a note on the bottom, and she wrote, "Thanks, it's been a great job, leaving to help out with care of my mother. Sorry to go." We're gonna miss Kathy, and I hope her replacement is as good as she
Yeah,
was.
she did an outstanding job.
She did an outstanding job, and I will regretfully accept her resignation.
I'll second it with regrets.
Roll call vote, Mary Lou?
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
Aye.
Your turn, Dave.
Okay. What, the JCAP?
Mm-hmm.
Only if you want it.
All right. Thank you. I know I got it here. Resolution authorizing Justice Court Assistance Program grant. Whereas the Town of Unionville requests to submit a New York State Office of State Court Administration 2016 Justice Court Assistance Program grant, JCAP, application, and whereas the town justices assert that said grant application shall prioritize the installation of security cameras on the exterior of the courtroom and court building. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville resolves and authorizes the town supervisor to sign and execute necessary paperwork for the 2016 JCAP grant application and to make any recommended amendments to grant application.
I'll second it. Roll call vote?
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins.
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
John?
Okay, resolution adopting a determination of the non-significance pursuant to New York State Environmental Quality Review Act to amend town code. Whereas the town board of the town of Unionville Town Code for Taxation in local law number 2 of 2016 establishes amendments to chapter 196 on senior citizen and disabled persons exemptions. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville, as lead agency, determines that this action to be a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, adoption of the and determines no significant adverse environmental impacts will result from the adoption of the local law establishing guidelines and restrictions for signs in the town, and that no further action is required under the SECRA. The question, this needs to go through roll call vote.
Second,
I'll second it.
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
It's my turn. Resolution authorizing the adoption of local law number 2 of 2016, amending chapter 196 and 196.5 of the Town Code of the Town of Unionville entitled Taxation. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Unionville desires to adopt a local law in order to amend zoning code section 196 and 196.5 of the Town Code entitled Taxation. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Unionville authorizes Town Council to prepare an amendment to Chapter 196 of the Town Code entitled Taxation to initiate the process of environmental review of the proposed local law under SECRA and to set a public hearing date on a proposed local law for September 15, 2016 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, public comment could be heard. Whereas notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the Poughkeepsie Journal, the official newspaper of the Town of Unionville, for the time period required, and whereas the September 15, 2016 public hearing was held at 7 p.m. at the Unionville Town Hall, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf or in opposition to said proposed local law. And whereas pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulation pertaining to said Article 8 State Environment Quality Review Act, SECRA, it has been determined by the Town Board that the adoption of said proposed local law would not have the potential for a significant negative effect upon the environment and could be processed by other applicable governmental agencies without further regards to SECRA, and now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with the authority granted to its pursuant to New York State Constitution, Article 4, Municipal Home Rule Law, Section 2, et. The Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby adopts said local law number 2 of 2016, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part of this resolution, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to enter said local law number 2 of 2016 in the minutes of her meeting and in local law book of the Town of Unionville, and to give due notice of the adoption of said local law number 2 of 2016 to the Secretary of the State of New York, and the town clerk and supervisor, if necessary, are hereby further authorized and directed to take all actions necessary to file local law number 2 of 2016 with the Secretary of State.
I'll second it.
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
Aye.
Dave? Authorized payments.
Bookkeeper?
Authorized payment? I thought it was.
Oh, Kim, yeah. I have them.
Resolution adopting determination of non-significance pursuant to New York State Environmental
No, you
No.
have the wrong one.
Here, give him this.
All right.
Give him
I
that.
just saw it.
Effective September. What is next Wednesday?
After that, I'll do the one after that now. Resolution authorizing the hiring of recreation assistant after-school co-director. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the hiring of Mary Pearson to the position of recreation assistant / after-school co-director in the town of Unionville. And be it further resolved that the rate of pay shall be, you better tell me this one.
Jessica? 17.
Okay, rate of pay shall be 17 per hour for a period not to exceed, how many hours per pay period?
40.
Okay, not to exceed 40 hours per pay period.
I'll second.
Okay?
All in favor?
Roll call, right?
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
All right, Dave, you ready?
Yeah. Resolution authorizing the hiring of assistant payroll, bookkeeper clerk. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the hiring of Kim Maycutt to the position of assistant bookkeeper and payroll clerk in the town of Unionville effective what date?
September 20th.
September 20th. And be it further resolved that the hourly wage for the position shall be $17 per hour, not to exceed 15 hours per pay period. For training, $17.50 after.
I'll second that.
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
Aye.
Want to do
Okay.
the last one?
Go ahead.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Resolution authorizing the hiring of after-school co-director. Be it resolved that the town board of town of Unionville hereby authorizes the hiring of Shelley Knight to the position of town of Unionville after-school co-director. And be it further resolved that the rate of pay shall be, Jessica? 18 per hour for a period not to exceed, how many hours a week? 15 hours a week?
30
Okay,
hours of pay period.
okay. 30 hours per pay period.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
Aye.
Resolution to authorize payments. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the payment of all general fund claims and highway fund vouchers as set forth in abstract 9 of 2016, which is available in the town clerk's office, and authorizes the town supervisor to make all payments.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris.
Aye.
Okay, earlier today, I was contacted by our town attorney, who asked if we could add a resolution authorizing special counsel to continue on the matter of Leonard Planning Board of the, versus the Planning Board of the Town of Unionville. I know it's not a week before the meeting, so we really have to get approval to read this resolution tonight.
I approve we read the resolution.
Yeah.
I'll second it then.
Okay, all in favor?
Motion?
Aye.
John made the motion, David seconded it. Okay, John, you want to read it?
Okay, resolution authorizing special counsel to continue on the matter of Leonard versus Planning Board, Planning Board of the Town of Unionville. Whereas that the Town of Unionville and the Town of Unionville Planning Board have been represented by Terry Rice Esquire and Stanger Roberts Davis and Diamond LLP in the matter of Leonard et al. Versus Planning Board of the Town of Unionville, both in federal and state courts. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby authorizes Terry Rice Esquire, with the assistance of Stanger Roberts Davis and Diamond LLP, to continue to represent the Town of Unionville and the Town of Unionville Planning Board, to continue as attorneys in the review of the application of Leonard et al. To the Town of Unionville Planning Board, and be it further resolved that this resolution is subject to the Town of Unionville Planning Board passing a resolution authorizing Terry Rice Esquire and Stanger Roberts Davids and Diamond LLP be retained as special counsel on the Leonard et al. Versus Town of Unionville Planning Board.
You want to second it?
I thought he did.
I guess if it's something that has to be done, yeah, I'll second it.
You'll second it?
Okay, roll call vote. Supervisor
Should that
Tompkins?
be something that's discussed with the full board here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if we don't do it, we're going against council advice. Do you want to go in that direction?
No.
I don't.
I took advice of our counsel,
Okay.
who gave this to me today, and he just feels that they know the case, they know everything about it.
We had
he-
decided this in January.
We had decided this in January, and Tom will sit in and keep track of everything
Okay.
in regards to us, and, right,
Yes, and I could inform the board.
you're gonna
What's going
inform the
on.
board
I was
on
on a
everything,
conference
you're
call
gonna
this
be
week.
actually representing the
Yes.
board.
Okay, I'll second it.
Roll call vote?
Supervisor Tompkins?
Aye.
Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Aye.
Okay, public comments on non-agenda items.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I'm Stephen Abiag at 80 Mountain Creek Road in Unionville, Post Office, Poquay. I think that the request may originate in the fact that we prevailed on appeal with the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And the result of that is that the district court was reversed, and therefore, with a twist that was inserted by the Court of Appeals, the litigation may continue if, when we submit a challenge to the rescission, the planning board revises its previous determination and gives approval to the project, then that ends the litigation. On the other hand, if the planning board digs in its heels and sticks to its position that the negative declaration was properly rescinded, then we can go back to the district court and continue the litigation. Now, this is something that involves some risk to the town. The risk is that the insurance policy of the town contains an exception for intentional wrongful acts by town officials.
I don't think there's any case of that.
You may think so, but it's a risk, and I suggest that you let Tom Jacobellis familiarize himself with the case and give his input. Now, if we continue with the litigation, for which I see no reason, nor does, let me say this as a note of caution, the district court found that the complaint thoroughly debunked each reason the planning board relied upon to rescind the negative declaration. And the Second Circuit Court of Appeals said in more gentle language that our analysis of the rescission shows that each ground was erroneous. Now, this is the opportunity that the Second Circuit gives to the planning board to reevaluate its rescission. If they do that, then everything stops. There's no more expense to the town, and there's no exposure to the town. If they don't, we'll continue with the litigation. That's all there is to it. I see no reason to litigate this. We don't even know what we are litigating about. It's a project that will bring money to the town, and it's a project that has absolutely no impact. They were unable to establish any adverse impact, and both courts have rejected it. So, it's your decision and the decision of the planning board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen.
Hi.
I'll say something too. I'm Betsy Moss, and I'm here because as chairwoman of the Library Steering Committee, and I realized a couple of things. One, we haven't talked much to the town, and we really should have, because I think that I was remiss in not sharing some information. I thought that's what the liaison did, and I thank you, John, for your report tonight. But I think it's important that you all know, we got our committee was set up in January, and then by February 18th, I believe at that meeting, there was a resolution passed that discussed how we were supposed to be set up, how our membership was supposed to be set up. I remember clearly Mr. McMorris saying, everybody should be interviewed, we should have a cap on the number of people and all that, and that advice ultimately wasn't taken, but I remember that sticks out of my mind, and we moved on from there. In May, I was voted by the committee to be chair, and we started, maybe that was April, and then I started running the meetings in May. And I want to just point out to you a few things that you may not know. We have lots of people. We started with 15 and we're down to 11. These are some of the things we've been working on since the month of May. And in the month of May, when we went through our mission statement and our goals, we said that we would be finished by September. We got pushed out until October, but the idea was that we had a finite set of things to look at and to analyze and to review. We came up with 3 options for the town that we would probably recommend to the town board, and those involved continuing the contract to pay Mid-Hudson, negotiating directly with neighboring libraries, or building our own. I mean, there really aren't that many options. We have to figure those out. So given that we identified 3 options, we hadn't decided which ones we were going to ultimately recommend, but we know what they are. I just wanted to share with you some of the people that are involved and what they've been doing. For example, we think it's very important to hear from the town residents as to what their thoughts are about the library. So Louise Shazang and Dennis Spinney, and now Susan Temple is working with them on the language and the postcard, are in charge of implementation of the town survey. Audrey Ryder and Susan Temple are going to be working on the compilation of the survey results. Karen Snare headed up, these are all subcommittees, and people volunteered to be on these subcommittees so they could do various things that they either enjoyed or wanted to learn more about. Karen Snare helped us research unserved towns in the Mid-Hudson library system, unserved meaning towns that don't have a library. How many are there? How did they solve their problems? What did they do? If they've got any good ideas, we wanted to hear them. Audrey Ryder researched unserved towns in other library systems, other library systems around the state of New York who don't have a library, and brought back some really interesting information that she shared with us. We also compared the language in the direct access plans, that document that all the libraries adhere to within one system. Our language is a little bit different than other languages, and we had to review that, which we thought was extremely helpful. Holly Harvey was in charge of researching towns across the state with a public library. We focused on those with populations of less than 5,000 like ours. We went on 5 different field trips, and we discussed how they solved their problems, anybody, and what advice, we got advice from them on how they might suggest that we solve our issues with sustainable library funding. We went to visit Clinton, for example, and they operate a beautiful, adorable little library on $85,000 a year. I think we all agreed they needed more money, though. They would like more money.
But, we looked at the very rich libraries, and we looked at some that are running on a shoestring, and it was very, very helpful. We collected important financial data from all the neighboring libraries that Carol Fortier gathered for us from Beekman, Millbrook, LaGrange, and Dover. We had Becky Coles research grant opportunities within Dutchess County and New York State. We looked at agency partners grants, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, even went to our friends over in Millbrook, the local foundation, and they don't, they're not going to work with us because we're not a 501(c)(3), so they can't give us any money. We talked to New York State. They have aid for library construction, but you have to already be a library before they'll give you the money to renovate a building, for example, so it's a catch-22. So Becky Coles did a great job there. That wasn't much hope for us, but we learned a lot. We looked at the governance structure of all 4 of the surrounding libraries, noting what type they were for comparison purposes, what is the decision-making process, any other information that could affect our negotiation down the road. We reviewed types of libraries in New York State. Brian Reiter did a terrific job with the help of Karen Snare. We looked at association versus municipal libraries, all the pros and cons, what does that mean as far as borrowing money if we wanted to do that in the future. Brian Reiter also walked us through municipal funding options, anything that was derived from the ballot box that our residents might have to vote on. We also looked at the 414, which is something that the residents could also vote on, where we paid for library services, but it's outside of that 2% tax cap. It comes on a separate line. So we've analyzed quite a few things. I was responsible for doing the revenue projections. I did revenue projections all the way out 30 years, so we could look at both what it might cost us to run various types of things, either paying a neighboring library or starting our own. And we also looked at using a property tax model, what the revenue projections at various levels of housing costs would cost a taxpayer. And now this is just since May. I just want you to know we only have a monthly meeting. Mike Myers did a terrific job with the help of Alfreda Tillman, whom he credited very nicely in a meeting that Alfreda wasn't there, but he said she was a big help to him. They went down and were reviewing the deeds and all the state restrictions that precluded a library perhaps from being built on Timor Park. We got estimates of costs involved with renovating any town properties, and that led to our inviting Paul Mays to come here when we finished with the survey. Paul Mays is a professional, he's an architect who's built over 200 libraries in the state of New York, and he's going to look at all of our properties and give us an eye, just give us his suggestions as to what might make sense for us, shorter term, longer term, and what also might help us turn a piece of property into a hub so that we could perhaps earn some tax revenue in the future from maybe some commercial entities wanting to move in next to a really neat new library. We don't know that's what we're going to recommend, but it's nice to have an expert coming in. So all of that's been done, and our newest subcommittee that was set up that Susan Temple and Holly Harvey have agreed to, Susan's running and Holly Harvey's joining in with theirs, we're reviewing the circulation numbers that are attributed to Unionvale by all of the surrounding libraries because we look at the circulation numbers and it's hard to tell, if they're 100% accurate because they don't all use the same standards, and we need to understand what those numbers are. Now, all that being said, we've done a lot of work since May, and we had a bump in the road recently when, and I think what happens at the end of these processes, or these, we've got a couple more meetings, but what you see happening is people getting a little bit white-knuckled because this ultimately involves taxpayer money. It involves money, either the $72,000 we're paying now is coming out of our town budget, so it's taking away from something. And that money could be exponentially higher if we are forced into the next round of Mid-Hudson Library System contracts after our 3 years is up. So we have some unique challenges, and we have people getting a little worried about where that money's going to go and who's going to get it. So we saw some things happen that hadn't happened earlier. The bump in the road was when Corinna Kelly didn't really like the direction that we may be, one of the things that we were analyzing. So she, without getting permission or authorization from her peers, sent a letter out, just explaining so everybody understands, sent a letter out to Tom Sloan, who runs Mid-Hudson, and the 66 libraries, saying that Betsy Moss and this committee, she more or less kind of knocked us off at the knees, saying that, they could talk to us, but they're not allowed to do this, this, and that. And we felt like it minimized what our role was, and it minimized, and she tried to stop us from asking questions. We clearly have more questions of our neighboring libraries because we need to ask them where the money's coming from, and where the circulation numbers are coming from. So we have more work to do. Now, I'm trying hard to keep the committee together because we have people who are very upset about the fact that we had a town board member
lie. She actually lied. It was very black and white, it wasn't gray, and they're upset. And I'm trying to keep these people on the committee so we can finish up, because we've gotten a lot done, as you can see, but we have issues. We also asked for two things. We asked that a letter be sent to rebut what was sent out by Corinna Kelly, and it was totally unauthorized. And we need that letter sent so that Tom Sloan and that group understands that they need to respect, if we call on them, that they really should respond and understand that we have the authority of the town board behind us. That has not been sent after 3 requests.
Yes, it was.
Corinna
It was sent
Kelly.
today.
It was sent.
Oh, was
today.
it sent today?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't get CC'd on it. You told me
You
earlier today
did.
you'd CC me.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, no, I checked while I was sitting here.
You want to see my phone? It's on there.
Yeah, I'd like to see
I
that
didn't see
letter.
if you were CC'd, but it
Patty
was
told
sent
me
out.
earlier today that she would CC me, so,
I put Betsy, I know, I CC'd Tom Jacobellis and you.
okay, I'm glad
It is
they,
on there.
is the letter on here? The Mid-Hudson Library System will continue to provide, oh, that's from
that's not
Tom
the letter.
Sloan. Dear Mr. Sloan, please attach final letter to the liaison. Oh, I see, so you didn't, okay. Oh, I see, okay. Oh, you used ATT, you used the wrong email address. I don't know how you got that, I haven't had that for 10 years.
That was in my computer.
Isn't that wild?
So I did
So
CC
did
you.
CC me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
It
you
was
didn't
done.
get it. It
Okay,
was
so
done.
that's good. I didn't get it because that's an old email address. We thank you then very much for taking care of the issue and giving us John Welsh. And we thank you very much for, that was a close one. Thank you very much for sending that letter out because, again, I've got some people who are quite concerned. And I have one person I need maybe some help with keeping on the committee tomorrow. So, but since that's been done, I have to tell you, then we're very happy. Our next meeting, we'll just give you an update on our survey that is going to go out and on the postcard that we are going to use to kind of explain to people how to take it. So be on the lookout for that. All right? Do you all understand how hard working these library committee members have, how they've worked so hard all this time?
Yeah, I think.
We've never
we
given
all-
in their names in public. I just
Yeah.
wanted everybody to know who
We
they
all
were.
owe them a
appreciate
debt
all
of
the work
gratitude.
you've
I know
done.
you spent a lot of hours putting the questionnaire together and the postcard information.
Yep, our team has worked
So
hard.
you should
So,
include yourself as having done all that, so.
well, if
thanks
you know
for-
any of these people by
thanks to
name and you
everybody.
see them on the street, make sure you say thanks, all right? And we'll get you a good report at the end.
We would like to thank all of you.
Yes. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay, I'll second that. Next town board meeting, October 6, 2016, 7 PM.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. There's only 3 of us.
Yeah.